Okay, so it is April. Spring has fallen upon us, and I am still not certain that on April I'm going to be able to do much. Sadly, it's one of those things when theoretically I love planning, and you see the schedule and you see everything, you say, I could, but the reality is most of the times it's not really possible because I'm genuinely kind of these days, especially, I am quite tired. Work has been working, so it hasn't been easy. But I do want to do creative stuff. So I want to go on. So what I decided to do is, like I said in the previous video, to kind of compartmentalize. I cannot even speak. Create kind of a simple idea of what I have to do, and maybe focus on the small tasks to finish things instead of, perhaps, I mean, I can leave the big things for further on. I don't have really a time to finish things. I don't really. So I could just, wait and in the meantime focus on smaller things. Again, because even if we have some holidays, I have things to do related to work as well as other things in, life. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm trying, and I will try as much as I can. And of course, if I have the time, then I can show you a little bit of things, because I did realize that on the previous video, I say certain things about things that I did not show you. So I will try to add this to this video of this month. So we'll see. But for now, we're just gonna try out. Let's just begin the month. Let's see how it goes this week. And yeah, we'll see. Hi, today I have a little bit of time, so I wanted to put everything together, considering that on the previous video, like on the previous month, I mentioned a couple of things here and there that I haven't really actually talked about or show you specifically. So we're gonna do sort of a rewind. We're gonna start from scratch. From this day on, we're all gonna start with the same food. I have my DIY book, but as with many other people, I guess if you're a creative person, it is very most usual that sometimes you then get one day, just see something and just get inspired and spend the whole day doing that instead of the projects. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I don't want to, like the dress the previous month. It's not a bad thing. Those are things that happen. But I do think that at least having something, on paper allows you to at least kind of feel that, okay, there is a project to work on. So it gives you the idea of organization that I like. I don't know you, but I do. One is the project of the Celtic dresses, white dresses, because we have the October dress, the version that is more for the winter, and then we have the version for the summer. One thing that I did not tell you is that, maybe I did, but I did not focus too much on it, is that it is I don't like to call it a couple's costume, but it is kind of a couple costume. I mean, in the sense that it's two costumes that both follow the same idea and pattern. Now, the only thing of note, let's say, when you're doing a costume for someone else is that, well, it's not really easy. I've never done it before, so I'm not gonna lie, I have been doing it for a while, but it's not easy, because while you do something on yourself, you can put it on enough as much as you need. When you put it on someone else that you're not going to see as much, it becomes a little bit harder. I have been trying to, whenever I can and we have the space and time, to do some of the measurements, but it's not really easy all the time. But at least I have started to focus on some things that I can measure, go back home and do, and then when we meet and we do this kind of back and forth. And I have done some things, so I wanted to show you. Now, in regards to my dress, my costume, aka the one that I'm wearing, is the one that I've shown you. Basically, the only thing left is the summer details on the white foliage kind of thing. That's the only thing that's missing. Well, that's not true. Also the hairpiece, but I'm still very uncertain about what I want, so it's fine. Let's focus on fabric. So fabric-wise, that's the thing. For the other costume, I did show you that sort of jackety, not really, that, goes over it, same type of fabric, so that also requires just the golden details. As a base, we also have a white base made out of this shirt, which used to be a very simple white shirt, store, like nothing fancy. Because it's a bit, you know, plain and also transparent, I decided to add this type of fabric, very nice thick fabric, on the arm, so here on this part, there you go, and also on the collar, front and back. I felt that this gave it just a little bit of extra thing because, you know, it's going to be covered up at the end of the day, but at least it gives you the idea that there's something more than just a normal plain shirt. It was a very simple thing. I measured the front part and then I did the back part. I just folded in the inside and I sewed it in. Nothing fancy. Again, a very, very simple stitch, one that you would do on the hems of skirts and things like that. This is for all types, aka winter, summer, as well as maybe other costumes in the future. You never know. Not sure if I'm going to add more details because I like it as it is. I think it's one of those cases where simplicity often not it's actually better. Next, we have the down part that just goes with the winter dress. It is basically a skirt because what I like is that on the original costume it was attached. I actually attached these pieces of fabric to the shirt, but it would be harder to put on because you have a big piece, and also I decided that during the summer costume less is more because it's hot, so maybe just a shirt, and this just goes for the winter one. As you can see, normal piece of white fabric with the lace and the circles, which I need to add the green details. For closing, what I decided to do, one side is fully closed, fully sewed in, and on the other part we have buttons, the good old button that never goes wrong. On the book, as you can see, like like the other dress, you have the black part. I destroyed the one that I made. Basically, I made something for that costume, and then these days actually I did a little bit, well, already a month ago I think, and I hated it. I did not like it. I was not convinced because if with my own it was hard, you can just imagine how hard it is not knowing how it looks on the person, because that's one of the things that I personally I need to be convinced, and I wasn't. So I decided to, you know what, let's undo everything. And when I have the chance, hopefully one day I'm gonna have the chance to take my time to just focus on that piece and the person. Maybe one day I'm gonna be able to. In the meantime, we go ahead. For the arms of the black dress, we have these arm things that I made. Very simple. As you see, we have the recalling of this lacy thing that is also going to go on probably on the black dress when I made it. On the meantime, I did decide to make this because I thought it would look quite nice. Those I'm gonna add on the arms, as you can see. So imagine that this is white and you know the whole thing is black. So you see how it recalls the thing, but it's different from mine because it is a different style. One thing though that I need to think about is how am I going to close it. I have a few ideas, maybe an invisible zipper, but it's not really much Celtic really, so I don't know, maybe we'll see. The closing is the other thing that I'm kind of need to think about, and I need time and I need the person, often not. But you know, I just made the simple base. I know it covers them, so if needed I can just, you know, do a whole folding and I can do the trick without having to add, because usually adding is harder than taking off. For the summer dress we have, like I said, the cover up with the foliage, but I decided, I know this is going to be fun, to add this. I found that I had some of this it's brown fabric, leathery. It's not real leather, I think it's felt quite elastic actually, and it was for another project that I'm not going to do because I decided I really don't want to do it. So I thought this actually can add up quite nicely to this type of project, so I took it out and I have it there on the back, but I'm still not certain about what I'm going to do. AKA, yes, I was thinking about doing another version of the arm things, but the point is the same. How am I going to close it and how it's going to look with the other things? I was thinking about maybe a belt or maybe some sort of addition that, you know, I could easily use this and, you know, it adds up to the whole costume. But also I've never really worked with this fabric, so I'm quite curious about what can I do. Now, one thing fun that I want to show you is this. It is a very nice bag that I think was quite useful because, as you can see, it has this part in here. And the issue with the original costumes was that we did not have pockets. I mean, we had the pants under it, but it was quite hard to reach. So I thought that if you do like a belt, you can just add this bag on the belt and you can carry just the basic things. But of course, this is not really on theme, but I'm not a huge fan. I have learned after a lot of trial and error that it is better to cover things up in a way that you can then take it off, because that way you still have all of the pieces. So I decided to make one with black. I know what you're thinking, but it was already black. Yeah, but there was this thing, and I'm not gonna get into taking this off when I can just cover it up and also give it a more of a Celtic, let's call it, vibe. So as you can see, I just cover it up, looking like this. Here on the back, it's open, so you can absolutely put it on the belt, and it carries things, and you have the same access to all of the pockets inside. And it's very simple. So this one is for the winter one. I'm making actually, but I haven't finished it, so when I finish it I will show you one with this type of fabric. It's interesting. I'm gonna say I'm not completely certain, but I think it could look quite nicely. And again, because it is kind of a leathery thing, I really think it adds quite a lot to the whole costume, so we'll see if I'm able to do that. Then I have this. This is a cover up for the shoes, because if you have a long dress, it covers up the shoes, good to go. If you're wearing pants, well, it could be quite fun and comfortable to wear pants. You have the issue then of the shoes, because they're gonna show up, and not everybody has shoes that are made for a theme. I'm not a huge fan of buying something just for one thing, because I'm not too fond of it anymore. I think that it's better if you can find a way to use the same thing and maybe have other ways to use it for more things. So I found about kind of trying to cover up the shoe, well, whatever shoe it might be. I was thinking about using this, so this would be on the winter dress. It could actually work on the summer one, but we'll see. Where this one covers the shoe, and then somehow I need to figure it out. I add this whole roll of fabric around the foot and then the legs, so it goes up and covers up and gives that idea of one of those shoes of, this type of aesthetic. Another thing that if I'm able to do it, I'll show you. On the meantime, yeah. And finally, last but not least, we have the belt, which is the same belt that I made for my dress. It's just that I need to do another one. It's actually the same thing. This is one of those things that I can, especially if I'm tired, I still am able to try to do at least one circle of the green things. So we at least are going ahead with something. And I don't feel fully guilty about not doing anything. So that was the Celtic dress and the costumes and aesthetic, let's call it. In regards to the Snow White, I'm gonna be honest, I am putting it a little bit behind. My back is still full here. Maybe if one day I have the time and I have the energy and want to, I might get down to it. But overall, I'm gonna put it kind of in the back. I'm gonna focus on the small details that I can do on the Celtic dress, so I can move on ahead. But again, I'm open. Maybe one day I have more time and I can do something. I haven't done really that much. I have been covering some stitches. Having made some decisions, yes, but until I made them and I'm kind of more certain about them, I don't think it's quite useful to tell you. And yeah, that's all for now. See you later, alligator. Okay, I have been working today on a thing. Nothing in relationship of the projects, because I don't have enough time, so I'm not feeling particularly interested, let's say. But I still had something to do, something that I have been wanting to do for ages. A couple of years ago, I saw on the internet that they would sell a sort of tissue package. You put the tissue package inside, but you can put it on your car, on the high thing, the one that you used to cover from the sun. And I thought it was lovely, and I thought it was a great idea, because we like to keep not only tissues but also wet wipes. But I thought, am I going to buy it? Because I don't feel, it doesn't look like a particularly difficult design, let's say. So I thought I could do it. I mean, I have materials, I should be able, and I've never did it until today, when I finally sat down and I took some pieces of fabric that I had. This is quite sturdy. And yeah, it's just 2 rectangles, as you can see. I made a hole in here. I bet it too big, but then I actually it became better because I added these 2 extra pieces of fabric here, also 2 rectangles, which they actually close it way better, I think. So you can see it opens. And on the other side, what I decided to do was that I added an extra piece of fabric here, so it creates a bag as well as this one. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna use Velcro because on a car it's a little bit easier with Velcro. So I'm actually quite happy. This is the elastic that I need to measure on the car. And here what I'm going to do is going to attach this part on this front one, because that way when you put it inside, the pressure that of the elastic, basically like an arm, is going to keep it closed. So theoretically speaking, in my head, I shouldn't have to add any closing here, but if I do at the end, it should also be Velcro, because again, I think it is the easiest thing to do. And I'm actually quite happy, I'm not going to deny this, for doing this like a sort of afternoon, let's say a couple of hours project, taking it very easy, very chill. I'm quite happy, so yay. Okay, the month's almost over, and I have to say that in regards to the projects, I haven't done that much, but I have worked on other things. So I made things that I needed to do, you know, like the thing for the car, like the tissue holder. I also made this simple, very pencil case because I needed one for a long time for work, because I cannot take mine that I use here because it's too big. So I made this one, and it actually took me quite a long time. Anyway, I also made a whole skirt. This is another thing that I had a similar one, but it was a passion that I never used, and it's also, you know, terrible state. And I wanted one, and I searched on the internet, and I couldn't find the one that I wanted. So I thought, why not try it out? I mean, I just had some of this fabric, and I thought, why not? And I'm actually quite surprised. It's not terrible. I would like to do it again in the future with a perhaps different type of fabric, because again, this one is one that I just had. But I am genuinely amazed. These actually took me less time than the pencil case. I mean, I struggle more doing this. Anyway, I also made some pants for the Barbie because I need to make some pants for myself. But pants, I think, are the most difficult thing that you can actually do. So I decided that first I was going to do it on a Barbie. That way I could, you know, see how to make it. And I think I have a passion, so we'll see, we'll see. In regards to the project, I do basically have to reanalyze things. For example, the shoe cover, I did a try it out, and I found a way that I think it could be lovely. It covers the shoe, I can put it on and off easily, and I can, you know, it's part of the theme. And on the other hand, for the costume of the other person, I found this fabric. I had other fabric, and I had another idea, but it wasn't giving it. So I basically, this is something that I do sometimes. I just take all of my fabric out and I look at it, and I look at the things that I have of the project, and I try to, you know, get inspired. And this fabric really inspired me, so I had an idea. But we'll see if I'm able to, because both the shoes and these, I meet the person, so we'll see if in this couple of days I'm gonna be able to. But yeah, in the meantime, also I met an octopus. He is Ottaviano, and he is the guardian of the chewing gum. Because again, I began with not really focusing on things that I had to do, so I decided to do other stuff, and then I kind of let more and more creativity, and at least I feel way more at ease because I have done stuff. Maybe not exactly what I was planning, but at the end of the day, my itch for creativity and the feeling of I have done stuff has made me quite happy. So yeah, we'll see what else maybe I'm able to do in the couple of days that we have left. We have like a week. We'll see. We'll see. It is officially the end of the month, and I'm actually quite happy. I'm not gonna lie. It began a bit tricky. I did not thought I would be able to do much, but I did, and I'm actually quite happy. Not exactly about the project. I mean, ish. Snow White, absolutely. Have not even thought about it, sadly. But I haven't felt, you know, the need.
But on the regards of the couple's costume, because there were a couple of long weekends, I was able to do some measurements and go ahead. So I'm actually quite happy with that one. I also made other stuff like the things that I've showed you, because at least it's creative again. And then I found some fabrics and I saw things on the internet, and I might have started working on other things, which I know I shouldn't. I should be the good person that is like, has a project and just does that, but I'm not. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend. If anything, I think it's fine. I think the important thing is to create stuff, to do things, and that's it. Again, because it is a hobby, because I don't have a time limit, you can just chill. So that's what I've been doing. I'm quite excited actually, because again, the month began kind of low. So now that it's over, I'm very, very happy with what I did this month. We'll see what the next month is going to bring us. Hopefully, with also the change of the weather and all of that, it's going to go a little bit better. But who knows? You never know. But we'll absolutely see. Hopefully, you had a nice month. And if you didn't do much, it's fine. Genuinely, it's fine. There's also the rest of the life to do things. There's absolutely no issue. So, yeah, see you May. Yay.